A very good morning, friends. We are going to discuss a second topic of agriculture, that is the problem of agriculture that largely we face in the agriculture sector. The topic is the backward linkages. Before going ahead, we would understand what are the type of linkages. That is, there are two type of linkages. First is backward linkage, second is the forward linkages. We would understand these things and then move ahead. So, backward linkages are the linkages that are being used in the agriculture sector when before the harvest of the crop. So, if you look at the agriculture, we know that before harvesting the crop, the things that is required for the agriculture is seeds, fertilizers, and pesticides, and also the plowing of the field. But we will discuss the three topics: the seeds, the fertilizer, and the pesticide issues. So first of all, we will discuss the fertilizer. Fertilizer is a component which is required for increasing the fertility of the soil. Why do we increase the fertility of the soil? As we find in our agriculture, in our field, the field largely contains is largely deficient in the nutrients. So there are basically two types of nutrients. The first is macronutrient and second is micronutrient. Macronutrients consist of the nutrients which are required in a huge quantity. For example, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. And the macronutrient consists of a nitrogen which requires a less quantity, that is zinc, iron, boron, manganese. So there are basically three types of fertilizer. The first is biofertilizer, second organic, and third is chemical fertilizer. Biofertilizer includes the rhizobium bacteria that is being present in the soil, which helps to fixation of the nitrogen which is required by the plant. Second is organic fertilizer. Organic fertilizer consists of the cow dung that we spread in our field to increase the fertility of the soil. The third is chemical fertilizer, that is the fertilizer that is urea that we normally mostly spread in our agriculture field. So if you look at the agriculture sector, the problem that we normally face the backward linkage is the fertilizer. The issue of fertilizer is that because of illiteracy of the farmer that we have, we normally see the overutilization of the fertilizer. Overutilization means that in some state of India has a huge overutilization. For example, the Punjab, if you look at the data, the Punjab, the Haryana, and the Arunachal Pradesh, if you compare all these things, we find that the Punjab consists of nitrogen. The Punjab uses fertilizer at a rate of 248 kg per hectare, whereas the Haryana uses only 2.4 kg per hectare. So we see that in some area we have overutilization of fertilizer, and some area there is a deficiency of the fertilizer. So this is the first problem of the agriculture sector. So the second problem is the diversion of urea for the industrial purposes. We know that this is a sector which is very much needed by the farmer. So government provides very much subsidy to the farmer to increase the fertility. So government provided the subsidy for the farmers. The fertilizer which is available for the farmers is cost at $85 per equal to the agriculture sector is $85 per ton, and for the industrial sector the government provides the fertilizer at a cost of $250 per ton. So we find that there is a huge gap between these two. So what happens? The fertilizer which is available for the agriculture sector get diverted to the industrial sector. By whom? By the large politicians and some money lenders who are very rich. So basically we have seen the two problems of the fertilizer sector. Second, and the third thing is that accessibility of whom? To the beneficiary. The beneficiary, we provide fertilizer to the beneficiary, but that is not largely available to them. So these are the problems. Now we will look at the solution. Normally we will look at a solution of three problems. Three solutions. The first solution of the overutilization of the crop of the fertilizer is that because of the unaccessibility, lack of knowledge that how much we have to spread the fertilizer in our agriculture field. So if we provide the farmer the soil health card, the soil health card will contains a list which contains the name of the farmer, Aadhaar card link to that, and land title and the location. We will link these sector to the field, and we will take a soil sample and we will collect this data, and after that we will test in the laboratory, and after testing the laboratory you will find out how much the nitrogen is required, how much the phosphorus is required, and how much the potassium, and what is the pH of the test soil. If we know all these things, that how much these fertilizer, this nutrient is required, so we can better target that field, and we would only supply, the farmer will only need that much amount of fertilizers, so they will not overutilize it. So the second thing is that for the diversion of the urea in the industrial sector, we can use a neem coating urea. This is the concept which is normally used from 2016. The urea that is coated with the neem, it will check the diversion. How it will check the diversion? See, the industrial sector which use nitrogen, which use the urea, that is the fertilizer, is used for the paint sector. Second is the manufacturing sector. So if we use a neem coating, then that will check the diversion. That neem coated urea will not be useful for that industrial sector. So this will be diversion that will be taken out. And the second problem was that the smuggling to Bangladesh. Since we have a very porous boundary, and the government of India provides a very huge subsidy to the farmer in the fertilizer. So at this very low cost, the smuggler do, they will smuggle to the Bangladesh and sell the fertilizer at a very high cost. So they will make a profit of that. If we so one benefit of the neem coating urea is also that the urea that we normally spread in the field before neem coating, that because of the hydration, that is we put water in the urea, so because of that the urea get dehydrolyzed very faster, and this urea get converted into nitrates. This nitrates which is required by the plant, but the plant what does, the plant take it very slowly. So what happens, since the conversion is very faster and the plant that absorb the nitrates is very slower, so a lot of urea get wasted and get deposited into the soil. That is get down, that is it gets wasted and go deep into the soil. That is not used by the plant. So if you use neem coating urea, this will slow down this conversion of urea into nitrates and so the plant can easily access easily and effectively access the urea. The third thing is that accessibility can be checked by the direct benefit transfer. How direct benefit transfer? Suppose this is the company A, and this is company, the government said that, look company, we will provide you a subsidy, we will provide you a fertilizer, that is if you have to produce 100 ton of fertilizer, then government will take the 100 ton of fertilizer to itself, to the government godowns, and then it will sell to the retailers and then to the farmers. But what will happen if the farmer requires 20 tons, the first farmer, second farmer requires 40 tons, and third farmer requires 40 tons? Yes. So this retailer will sell the farmer to whichever amount of the fertilizer which is required by the farmer. This the retailer will have to now cross check. They will have to show the receipt of the to the farmer which he has sold. So in order to take the subsidy from the direct benefit transfer, this retailer has to show the receipt. This government godown will also have to show the receipt which he has sent to the retailers, and this company will also have to show the receipt to the government in order to take the benefit. So in that way, if we find that the corruption can be decreased, and because of the direct benefit transfer, and the farmer can directly avail the benefit, they can have in the account the benefit that the government is giving, that is the money, the subsidy that is the government has given to this. So we have solved the problem of the fertilizer sector. Now we will look at the pesticide. Now the second linkage is pesticide. What is pesticide? Pesticide is any chemical or biological agent that is used for killing the pest. That is we want to kill the pests which are unwanted to the unwanted to the field, is we use for that purpose the pesticide. If you look at the Indian sector, in the Indian context, we find that the average use of average use of pesticide is very less. That is 600 gram per hectare. If you compare it to the USA uses 7 kg per hectare. So we are very less as compared to the USA. And but there is an irony. Irony is that we use 18% of the world pesticides. What happens? The one problem is that there is a very less use of pesticides in India, but in a particular sector. What you find with the problem is that India is the largest exporter of basmati rice. But in the recent past, that is happened in the approximately 17 or 18. What happens? The largest exporter to India export to Jordan and European Unions. But European Union said that in the year of 2019 or 18, they said that India uses a very huge amount of pest. They said that, and because of that, we will not allow the import of basmati rice from India. So this impacted the Indian sector. It impacted the farmers who produce the basmati rice, because they said that initially the allowance was the European Union allowed the one I can say India uses 1 ppm. The European Union allows 1 ppm parts per million in the basmati rice. But now in the 2017, they said that no, we will not allow 1 ppm. They have rather allowed 0.1 ppm in the basmati rice. It means that India was deeply hurted because of the measures that the European Union has taken. This was the Indian sector was deeply impacted because of that. Second thing is that the cotton is the mostly affected crop because of the attack of pest. So we use a largely pesticide in the cotton sector. So most countries have said that India uses a large amount of pesticides in their field, but the average use we find that there is very less as compared to the USA. So this is the one major concern of India. But natural question arises why India uses a very large amount of pesticide. India is because our farmers that produce the crops, they have a lack of knowledge. Why they have a lack of knowledge? Because the bottle they produce, they spread in the field. The bottle the bottle that of pesticide that they spread, it does not clearly indicate how much amount of pesticide they have to spread in the field and what is the time duration. We find that in the European Union countries, they have clearly written how after what duration means after 2 days or 3 days or how much they have to 500 gram or how many milliliter they have to spread in their field. But in the Indian company does not mention how much they have to spread. So this is the first concern is that the lack of knowledge, because the farmers are not well aware about that. So they use a rampant capacity of the pesticide. This is the first one. Second problem is that absolute obsolete Insecticide Act of 1968. What happened? In the year 2016 or 17, certain state of India, Gujarat, Maharashtra, have reported a death of 40 farmers. 40 farmers have died because of the fertilizer, because of the pesticide they use. Why they have died? Because the pesticide that they use was banned in India, but it was rampantly used by the farmers because they have lack of knowledge. But this, in spite of this act does not punish the culprits. Why it does not punish the culprit? Because this act is very obsolete. As we see that this act is made in 1968, and now we are living in the present era of 2020. Still, we does not have a strong act which can punish the culprits. In this act, it has been mentioned that the only impact on the environment, the only thing is that this will punish if there is a damage on the environment, and second thing, if there is a damage on the animals, but it does not mention anything about the humans. So the one who was responsible for the selling of the banned pesticide was not punished. So this is a problem. Now the third problem is that non-uniform distribution across the crops. We find that certain crops receive a high amount of pesticide. For example, cotton receive a very high amount of pesticide, but some crops receive less pesticides, so they are largely attacked by the pests. So the solution is so we need to know this problem. Now the solution is that to aware the farmers, we can use the Krishi Vigyan Kendra. Krishi Vigyan Kendra has to be established in every district. But the truth point is that the flip point is that they are only at the present time 35, only 35 Krishi Vigyan Kendra working all across the India. But government says that we have to implement in each and every district one Krishi Vigyan Kendra who can give knowledge to the farmer that what amount of pesticide they have to spread and many more relevant data. The second thing is that the pesticide management bill, it has not been made an act yet, which was recently passed in the Lok Sabha, and now in the month of January it has been introduced in the Rajya Sabha. But right now we know the pandemic going on, so let's see after how much this bill become an act. So this is the problem and this is the solution. Now we will move on the next topic, the seed sector in India.